Hi everyone! So I'm going to be sharing the primary sources I have found on Ellis Island, and I'll be talking about the perspectives of immigrants traveling from other countries to America. And I'll be touching on the way they came here, where Ellis Island is located, what happened to them when they got to the island, why they were going there, stuff like that. I want there to be an emphasis on the immigration aspect of the island, and I would recommend this unit for fourth or fifth graders. I think that they would really enjoy it and it'd be more beneficial because they would understand it more. So, essentially, what I would do when introducing the topic of Ellis Island is I would give this picture and put it on the board, and just have the students write down some questions that they have about it. I want them to bring out their notebooks and just write about it, what the details they see, and what they think it is. And then after they're done writing down what they think, I want them to talk to a partner about it and share their ideas and like maybe bounce off one another and like try to figure out where this is or use their prior knowledge to maybe figure out that it is Ellis Island. But essentially, what I want to do is just introduce the island and just see what they're thinking. And then after this is done, I'm going to have them raise their hand and ask them what they think it is, basically. And then after they do that, I'm going to write down the questions that they have, and then we're going to touch on them. So some of the questions that they would probably have is, what is this place? Where is it located? And then this is an opportunity for you as a teacher to tell them that this is Ellis Island and talk about when it was established. And mainly what you want to talk about is who went through here and why they went through here. So it's a great opportunity to talk about the immigrant situation that basically arose for this, and talk about how people from other countries would come to the United States and because they wanted the land of freedom and stuff like that. And you can talk about how there were so many immigrants that went through here while the island was opened. And you could say that it was open for 60 years and it was established in January 1st of 1892 and stuff like that. Another thing that you could talk about is what where the people came from, where the immigrants came from, and what they had to do and how they got to the island. That's another thing that you could introduce. And then you could talk about the tests and inspections that they had to go through to be able to come into the United States. You could also talk about how some people had to change their names in order to come into the United States. Just all those things are really important to touch on when introducing the topic of Ellis Island. You could also, another thing that would be important is to talk about what they brought with them and how little they could bring, or each person could bring. Then, yeah, those are some key topics that I would talk about when introducing this picture. After introducing Ellis Island and the concept of it, and emphasizing that it was meant for immigrants, I would ask the question of, how do you think the immigrants traveled there? I would give the students a couple minutes to collect their thoughts and then have them share their ideas with me as well as their peers. Before I do this, though, I would tell the students to keep in mind the time frame in which Ellis Island occurred in and what kind of transportation was created at this point. After we talk about this for a little bit, I would introduce this picture of the boat and the immigrants that are in the boat. I would ask them how they would feel if they were one of the immigrants and to look at how tight the living quarters look like. I would then talk about how to keep in consideration of hygiene as well as personal space. And I would also, maybe this would be a little funny to them, think about how they went to the bathroom and how it probably smelled on the boat. And all of those things are really important to keep in mind, just to keep into perspective of how these people lived and felt coming from a different country to the United States. Another thing to talk about with the students is reminding them that these people were leaving their home country to come to a completely foreign place to start their lives over again. So this is something I would really talk about and discuss while showing this picture. I would have the students talk about how they would feel if they were on this boat, as well as how they would feel leaving their home. After introducing the picture of the boat and the immigrants on it, I will be showing them a video of the immigrants pulling up to Ellis Island in the boats that they were in and going into the actual place. So some things that I would ask them before I play this video is, what do you think they were feeling when they got off the boat? I would also ask the students some questions like, where was Ellis Island located again, just to see if they have retained any of the information that was presented to them. I would also ask them, before you walk into the place Ellis Island is at, how would you be feeling? What would you be thinking? And what do you think will happen? So the video that I'm going to show has no sound to it, and it's just a video of how the boat pulled up to the dock and then the people went inside. So this is what it looks like.
From the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. This has been a presentation of the Library of Congress. Visit us at loc.gov.
So after looking at the video, I'm going to introduce this picture, and essentially what it is showing is the immigrants lined up waiting to go through basically an examination of the security at Ellis Island. So this is a picture of someone's eye getting examined, but I wouldn't tell them that at first. I would ask the students what they think was going on in the picture. And after they facilitated some conversation and talked to their peers, I would ask them what they thought. And then after they gave me their input, I would tell them what was actually going on. After that, I would ask them, what other kinds of exams do you think the immigrants had to go through? And then another question I would ask is, do you think they were harsh on some people over others? And In addition to that, I would say, what do you think they were feeling going through this? And then how would you feel if you were going through this? And so I think these are some questions that are very important to especially this picture. And I would also emphasize that these people are probably so scared. They just left their country, don't know what these security guards are saying because they're speaking in English, and obviously they don't know how to speak English. And then, yeah, those are some really important important discussions that could be facilitated because of this picture.